Oh,
Great
well.
shot. Welcome back, everyone, to the FloTrack podcast. I am Kevin. He is Gordon. FloTrack podcast at gmail.com is our email address if you'd like to write in with a Guess My PR challenge, internet coach. You got a kick of the week nominee. We will take it all. Subscribe to the FloTrack podcast YouTube channel if you haven't already, or the FloTrack YouTube page. On today's show, we'll do our kick of the week for this week. We'll also talk about some NCAA results that we didn't get to over the weekend. We did a proper pre-classic recap right after the meet. I did that one solo. So we'll start first with getting Gordon's thoughts on the Prefontaine Classic.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Apologies, my voice is a little rasp. I lost it throughout the weekend. Hopefully, I have it back throughout the next few days. So, sorry if I sound a little crazy. But yeah, I mean, man, I felt like it didn't disappoint. I felt like it gave a lot of unique results that some you saw coming, some you didn't see coming, and we'll talk about this throughout the pod. But it flipped a lot of narratives. It flipped a lot of preconceived notions on a lot of these athletes going into worlds. Some for good, some for some for bad. And I thought it'd be cool if we kind of go through all the notable moments and races and see who flipped the narrative in the positive or negative way. I thought that'd be a
Mhm.
cool little mini pod we could do tonight.
Yeah, well, today. It's today. Just we need to get a
Sorry.
we need to get a can we get a cough drop sponsor just for
Well,
Gordon.
yeah.
This reminds me of me a couple months ago when I was sick every 2 weeks and coming on the show and sneezing and coughing and telling Colt to show B-roll so I could blow my nose. Yeah, let's do that. I mean, this sort of functioned as a pre-world championship in a way because you had the same site, but also you had a lot of the big players and a lot of the events. Not all the events. There were definitely some events that were completely missing, and then events where fields weren't big. But there were some fields that mimicked world championships. So let's start first. What was your first narrative that you think got flipped based on the Prefontaine Classic results?
You got to start with the big one, and it is Sha'Carri Richardson. Her second place finish, probably the most narrative moving second place finish you can have out there. A lot of people don't talk about the second place finisher, but with Sha'Carri Richardson, you're going to. And getting second in a race can sometimes be not that impressive, but you look at the names that finished third, fourth, fifth, sixth in that race, a lot of those names are people who will make a world final. And when you are beating multiple potential world finalists, you are setting yourself up for being in the medal contention. And I believe Sha'Carri went from MIA, what's going on? Where are you? Is this a flash in the pan? To now, hey, I ran the sixth fastest time this year. Hey, I'm just getting started. Hey, don't forget, guys. Remember when I ran 10.7s all this time, like just a year ago? So
Hmm.
I think Sha'Carri flipped the narrative from MIA, flash in the pan, to legitimate medal contender. She's not a legitimate gold medal contender because Elaine Thompson-Herah and Shelley and Fraser Price have shown no signs of letting go of that one potential 1-2 sweep. But Sha'Carri, legitimately, I could see getting third now in the world.
Hmm. Yeah, and there's the people she beat. There's also the margin to Thompson Hurrah. I mean, finishing 0.13 behind Thompson Hurrah is a good result. Like if you run all of your races, no, I'm serious. If you run all your races 0.13 behind Elaine Thompson Hurrah, you're gonna run some fast times and you're gonna win some medals. I mean, if I told you she's gonna finish the same distance back at World Championships, would you say she medals, Richardson?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. I mean, Thompson Hurrah's really good. I mean, if Thompson Hurrah's ends up running 10.6 or 10.5 again, then being only a tenth back is going to be a very impressive result. So I look at it from that perspective too. How close did you keep it? Now you could say, all right, Thompson Raw wasn't pressed. She could have pushed the gas pedal even farther down and got even quicker. But then you could look at the other side of it, which is the people she beat. She beat Sherika Jackson. She beat Dina Asher Smith, right? She beat a lot of the top US names as well too. But job number one for her is going to be make the team. And right now, I think we both have her now as a favorite to make the team.
Yeah, I mean, Tanisha Terry's good, and
Yeah.
Tiana Daniels is going to make it the team. So you beat someone who's really good and someone who's probably going to make the team. You like Richardson's chances to move on, and we're going to see if this is her peak, or is there still some room for her to grow, because
Mhm.
there was the expectation on Sha'Carri last year wasn't to be the best U.S. runner, right? It was to
Mhm.
become like a world champion type runner. So she still has yet to get to that standard that people kind of put on her, and justifiably so, because she was running out of her mind last year. She has yet to get there, but she definitely has gotten away from the oh, you're distracted, oh, you care too much about non-track stuff, you're tweeting too
Mhm.
much, this, that, and the other thing. You can't say that now. You on 10.92 at pre, second behind Lane Thompson Hurrah.
Mhm.
Clearly, you've been focusing on your craft. Clearly, she's been training. Clearly, she hasn't just like turned into a celebrity. Like, she's still focused on what she was being paid to do, which is run 100 meters.
Mhm. Well, when she was running the fast times early season last year, and the expectation got placed on her that she was going to be a gold medalist, like Thompson Hurrah hadn't yet run under 1070. All of her sub 10.7s, Thompson Hurrah, September, August, July, August. Now, Fraser Price she had that one early June in Kingston, that 1063, and nobody really knew what to do with that. We're like, whoa, is this just like a crazy, huge one off performance, or is Shelly Ann now like a 10.6 runner? So, two things happened at once. Richardson had the suspension, then came back, had her whole season disrupted. But then Fraser Price and Thompson Hurrah went a complete level up. And I think that's why everybody realistically thought, oh yeah, gold, gold, gold. Like that's the expectation. That's what we should think about when we think about her. But that's changed. But that's changed since then. And I think it's all right. Now, you mentioned there's still that gap, right? And that gap exists until we see some sort of vulnerability from top two Jamaican women, which we haven't seen yet. But you can't control them if you're Richardson. You have to just keep running your race, and that's why I think the first priority just get on the team, get on the team. Then you figure out how to make the final, and roll the dice.
Do you think she's going to run one more time for USA's, or do you think that's it for Richardson?
No, I think she'll run again. I just think you can only get more confidence off of this race. Like I don't see any way to frame it negative. I mean, I'm clicking around, like looking at the comments and stuff too. It's just funny how positive. I mean, some people are always going to be negative, but it just seemed like way more people were just like, "All right, cool, she's back." Like even people who had spent the last year just like hating on her were just like, "Oh, cool, awesome, she's back." So I think she'll run again because I think it's going to be fun again, and the pressure and the expectations are there. But if she can manage that stuff, I think getting in another effort before U.S. champs would be smart. But we'll see. Do you think she's going to
We
run again?
will. I don't know. I could see maybe no. I don't know though.
It's still 3 weeks out. That's still a little ways to go before World Championship or before keep calling it World Championship, U.S. Championships. So maybe one more race to sharpen up a bit there. All right, let's move on to the next one. Um, Men's 100. How do you think the narrative shifted in the men's 100, Gordon?
Sorry, I'm muting and unmuting myself throughout this podcast for the viewers. Um, I think the men's 100, which from the start, from the get go, has always been the most confusing race, because it was never a one versus one type build up.
Mhm.
There were like 6 to 7 guys who all had a reason why they are the star. And then you'd have them all beat each other. Like there wasn't
Yeah,
someone who
yeah.
was beating everyone. And then there was a moment when we thought, all right, I think this is a Jacobs and Coleman show, right? We saw them do it in the 60. They were like a hairline difference between the two of them in the 60. Coleman's the world champion. Jacobs is the Olympic champion. All right, we got our matchup. And then we're like, all right, well, let's not forget about Fred Curley. But Fred Curley was losing to the Kent Omanyala.
Hmm.
And so we still kind of were thinking, all right, it's still Jacobs and Coleman. But then we forget about, we don't forget, but we don't talk about Mr. Trayvon Bromell. And
Hmm.
Trayvon Bromell, who was disqualified in Birmingham, kind of didn't have much on his resume. I mean, he did, but didn't have like a notable win. Winning this race puts Bromell back into the conversation
Yeah.
of the favorite to win the 100-meter title. And it's kind of weird to say, did you forget about Bromell? It's just so Bromell's such a weird regular season runner where he has these great moments, and he has like a random injury, and then he flutters at the Olympic final. You don't know, and then comes back from the Olympic final and runs a world lead in Nairobi. It's just like all over the place. And this adds to that chaos of the all over the place now that Trayvon Bromell wins a good 100-meter dash, which had pretty much everyone except for like two or three guys.
Yeah.
And I do think that the narrative here is this is not a Coleman versus Jacobs show anymore. This is
Mhm.
a this is a party. Anyone can come. We also have, Seville of Jamaica.
Yeah.
He's going to be in the party eventually, right? You have Omanyala of Kenya. He's going to be in the party. You have maybe one of these college kids, which we'll talk about later in the pod. They could be in the party. I just think
Yeah.
this 100-meter, you're going to look at that start line. There's going to be 6 guys on that start line, and you're going to be like, all 6 of those guys can win. There's
Mhm.
not going to be a heavy favorite. I'm willing to say, I bet you lane 4 and 5 at Worlds won't win. Because typically they put the 2 fastest guys in lane 4 and 5. I think someone in lane 6, 3, 2, 8, 7 will win because it's just,
Isn't 6 the new preferred lane?
oh,
You
yeah.
should
Well,
extend
you know
that
what I
to
mean.
no 4, 5, or 6. You're
Yeah,
predicting
no 4, 5, or 6.
an outer lane athlete.
Yeah.
I with Coleman struggling in this race, obviously not willing to count him out yet. It'd be way too early. He got third, 10:04. He'll be fine. But like the list of guys who can win is really long, right? You got Rommel, you got Jacobs, you got Curley, you got Coleman, right? You're talking about some of the collegians, Makai Williams. Like, are we going to count out Omanyala? Seville, I'd like to see again. Like, the list is growing. It's not shrinking as the season goes on. Usually the opposite happens, and we settle in on 1 or 2 or 3 people tops. And it is cliche. Oh, anybody can win it. Hey, just, make it to the final. Anyone in this group. But that doesn't usually bear out at all. But I think this year, as of right now, where we're at, heading into June. That's the current state of the men's 100. Coleman has the buy, which is huge now. Just huge. This is one of the most valuable buys in all the world because you feel good about Curley. You feel good about Bromell. Coleman's already in. That leaves one spot. That leaves one spot out there for every other American runner. And I guess we can talk more later about who that might be. I think there's 4 or 5 candidates right now. But it's huge for Coleman not to have to worry about trials.
Excuse me for ooh, tongue wrong. How concerned are you about Coleman? Because I'm kind of concerned. I know we talked about the concern level when he ran that 10 flat in Tokyo by himself.
Yeah,
I feel like Coleman may not even medal at Worlds.
it's a while. We still got a while to go. I mean, I'd say medium. I'd be 5 out of 10.
5
Remember,
out of
was
10?
it? Yeah, yeah. I look back at recent pre. I mean, he won pre in 19, but like Baker won pre in 18. DeGrasse won pre. I think last year. I mean, those guys all went on and ran really well. So I mean, he's in the mix. He's healthy. I just don't think it's going to be. We're not going to have a runaway winner. I would be surprised if the margin of victory at the World Championships is bigger than like 0.04 or something like that. I think it's going to be a very close race. So again, just get through and get a lane. And Coleman's got to worry about the 2 rounds to get himself to the final. All these other guys, all these Americans have to worry about getting through the U.S. championships and all the anxiety that comes along with that. So I just think it's very, very even right now.
All right. So you're medium concerned about Coleman?
Yeah, I'd be a 5 out of 10.
Okay. What about Andre DeGrasse?
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to get suckered into thinking that Andre DeGrasse is out of it until I'll start worrying about Andre DeGrasse at like 70 meters into the final at the World Championships. That's when I will worry about Andre DeGrasse. He just knows where to be at the right time. Not going to worry. What did he get?
Oh, we lost Kevin. Yeah, see? The world doesn't even want us to know Kevin's take on Andre DeGrasse. We'll wait for Kevin to refresh. Apologies for my voice. I'm struggling a little bit. Did a little too much screaming the other day. But yeah. Anyway.
I'm back.
Oh, Ken's back. All right.
Yeah.
Finish your Andre DeGrasse point. Finish your Andre
No,
DeGrasse point.
no, I just, as long as I got my DeGrasse, heard the joke. So you can keep
Dude,
going.
the internet does not like that your Wi-Fi connection is a big Andre DeGrasse fan because they don't want you to get out your anti-Andre
Norman,
DeGrasse take.
let's. No, it's not anti. It's not anti. It's pro.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
never going to count this guy out because all he does is get to World Championships and Olympic finals and win medals. So he got last, and I'm still not going to count him out. Not concerned at all. Let's talk about Michael Norman. Narrative flip there. I think it's pretty easy. He went from a guy who was outside the medal picture, which was a head scratcher for those of us who followed his career all those years, to now I'm not going to call him a medal favorite. I'm not going to put, or a gold medal favorite. I'm not going to put him ahead of Stephen Gardner, but I'd say he's now a medal contender with a solid shot at gold and just a great throwback performance to, 2018, 2019 Norman.
Okay. You could say that because when you do run 43.6, there's no way in hell you're finding 3 other people who can
Yeah.
run 43.6 in this world, right? But we've seen this before. We've seen the fast time.
Well, once. We've seen it once. He's only run faster
Yeah.
one time, 2019, and then he got hurt. 2021, he never ran under 44, if I'm not mistaken. We all just were assuming he was 2019 Michael Norman or 2018 Michael Norman was going to get back to where he was. But this is his second fastest time ever. So if he can stay healthy, I think it's a different story this time. I know, fool me
But
once, Kevin. I'm just going to keep believing in Michael Norman. I'm choosing to believe. Go ahead, Gordon.
sorry. But I don't think Michael Norman's flaws are his inability to run 43 seconds. I think it's his inability to put it
He
together
didn't
when it
run it
counts
last year.
most under the
He didn't run it
pressure
last year.
and in the third round of 3/400s.
Yeah, true. But I think you're forgetting last year, he never did it. He was 44 low guy, and he stayed a 44 low guy all year. We just assumed he would be 43 when the time came because of his history, but he never really got going last year. He had some early season wins. He won trials, but he never showed the early season form that he did in 19 or, as good as he was at NCAA champs in 18. But think again, you call me a sucker. You say, hey, I'm being naive. You can play this back to me in July. But I think this is different. That last 200 was so aggressive. If he can figure out the timing, if he can stay healthy, I think he's going to medal. I think he's got a shot at. I think he's definitely got a shot
Yeah.
at gold. Because
And when
listen,
you say
if he's
figure
in
out
his
the timing, it's figuring out the date of when to do it.
yes,
Right? It's not the
yes,
timing in the race; it's the timing of the
no,
race, aka
no.
the
Well,
world final.
yeah, he's very analytical. Like you watch all of his interviews, and talking about I got to watch the tape, I got to go back, and yes, he's concerned about the timing of the race. But I'm talking about being at his best at the end of the season or at World Championships. If he runs this sort of mark, who can go with him? I mean, I think it's going to put him past Karani James. The question is Gardner. Gardner's the only other guy, right? There's not a long list.
Yeah,
Zambrano's out there as well too, but it's pretty much going to be between him and Gardner if he runs 43 mid.
yeah,
All right, let's go to the distance stuff. Let's get to the distance stuff real quickly. Oliver Hoare. Oh wow, Nate says Matt Hudson Smith will go 43. Maybe 43
yes,
high.
confident.
He got British record though. Props to Matthew Hudson Smith. It's a British record. Um, Oliver Hoare got second. Sinclair Johnson ran 358, and Paul Chelimo struggled. What distance narratives changed for you, Gordon?
All three of those. I would say first narrative is I believe Oliver Hoare now has a magical chance to win gold. Before he had a magical chance to medal, but now I would say
Magical
now he has a
chance.
magical chance to win gold, which is better. I know they both sound like not a chance, but they it makes sense in my head when I describe what magical chance means. But yeah, Oliver
Hmm.
Hoare's second place finish in that field, that was a world final field. Um, he could have a Josh Kerr-esque type performance like Josh had at the Olympics, and maybe even better because even though Jakob Ingebrigtsen was pretty dominant in that race,
Hmm.
1500s, anything can happen. We saw Kip Sang dominate all season long, and he struggled a little bit in this race. So I believe the narrative that flipped in my mind for the 1500 was Oliver Hoare is not a plus one in the
Hmm.
world final. He's going to be an invited guest who's supposed to be there to potentially win a medal. Because you have when
Hmm.
it goes to the 1500, you have invited guests and plus ones, right? Your invited guests: Ingebrigtsen, Chariot, Kip Sang,
Hmm.
Oliver Hoare, Josh Kerr. That's
Sure.
probably about it. Those are the invited guests, and then you have the plus ones. You have the three U.S. athletes. You have a couple other British athletes. You have Will Paulson of Canada, right?
Hmm.
But you have your five main invited guests: Ingebrigtsen, Hoare, Chariot, Kipsang, and Kerr, and then everyone else is a plus one. Hoare is not a plus one. He is an invited guest. He's here at the wedding. He has a chance to win a gold medal, which is we weren't thinking that, 72 hours ago. Now we are,
Hmm.
or at least I am.
Yeah.
He always was probably.
I mean, a good close here. We got the splits up here. He ran it's like 28-34 over the last 200 and last 209. I don't know if that's all the way to the finish line. In any event, is that the fastest of the field? Yeah, it looks like it's the fastest of the field. So being able to close off that fast pace is very important. So
Yes.
yeah, I don't know what the gaps are. I mean, you watch this race and you want to overreact and be like it's Ingebrigtsen and everybody else, but Chariot will be ready when the time comes. So how big of a gap is there? And you also know that Kerr is capable. Tefera beat Ingebrigtsen. There's just a lot of guys. It's great. The men's 1500 right now is great. It's a lot of fun. I'm excited about it. All right, Johnson 350. Let's just go through this real quick. Johnson 358. Uh, 7 women broke 4 in that race. She beat a lot of big names. I think you'd have to put her just because that women's 15 is so wide open. I think you'd have to put her right now top 3 U.S. woman in the 15. She beat Perrier St. Pierre in this race, and then Chelimo. We got to talk about Chelimo. You're one of your favorite runners. didn't run well in that 1500 in Nairobi, and then in this 5,000, which was a strange 5,000 because Bearhu Our Garbage like hammered it from the front and kind of left everything in scrambled everything. But Chelimo did not finish.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a concern meter going off for Chelimo. Um, he's not running much, right? He's only run. I mean, when did he drop out? How many meters did he run in the 5K?
Yeah, you couldn't even tell. Like
Yeah.
that race
So
was so all over the place when they were showing it. But yeah, I mean, you look at who do you feel good about right now in the men's five? All those guys coming back from the 10, you'd think have at
talk
least a
about
solid
U.S.
chance.
on the U.S.
Yeah,
side.
US. I'm talking about making the team here. I'm not even talking about gold. I'm just talking about, is he gonna make the team?
I
Well, it
mean,
looks
the
like
two
he made
Bowerman
it. What is
guys
that?
and the
He
two
made it like
Bowerman
4
guys
minutes
and
in.
4 minutes. Oh wow. I would say the two Bowerman guys and Tier. Those are like the big
Flecker?
three now. Klecker probably yeah. Yeah. So that's big four. And then now Chelimo, like, could Chelimo, man, if Chelimo doesn't make the team, that would be crazy, man.
Are you gonna
It would
cancel your
have,
trip to Eugene?
yeah, I'll cancel my trip,
Second trip? Okay.
my second trip. I mean, I still have, I still have a little bit of a belief because obviously he's a vet. He's been there. He knows what it takes to put it together at the right moment. But he's not looking like a world beater. He's not looking like, hey guys, USA's is just a formality. I'm focusing on winning a global gold, right? Because that's what he
Mhm.
was thinking previous seasons. He was thinking global golds. Now I feel like
Yep.
he needs to take a step back and think, all right, top three at USA's. So we'll see what happens.
Mhm.
I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, but the doubt is growing. Um, he just needs to go out there and give me one solid race, and then the doubt will go away.
All right, let's transition to the NCAA side of things. Had a bunch of headlines here in the regionals. Makai Williams of Oregon win legal 986. Joseph Fahnbulleh of Florida had another incredible comeback. And then we got to see Abby Steiner and Favor Feely out there in the East prelim. Four women ran sub 10:9, although windy out in the West. Of those four, what was the most significant to you?
Oh, Williams by far. 986 win legal. You kidding me? Look at that face. Throw that up.
It's
No, no
a great
sweat.
pose. I love it.
No sweat by Williams. Dude, 986. He needs to be focusing on making the world team now. Like, hell, not even making the world team. He could be focused on winning gold. I mean, 986 win legal. That is, if we saw Jacobs do that, if we saw Coleman do that, if we saw Bromell do that, we would all be like,
Mhm.
whoa, here we go. You're the gold medal favorite. And he's doing this in a random NCAA West prelim while the Prefontaine stars are going off running 9.9s. Man, I think Williams should be the prohibited favorite to be in that top three with Curley and Bromell. Coleman, I'm assuming not running because of the bye. Uh, and if you can make top three in the U.S., you can make top three in the world. I mean, that's just how it is. So, most impressive performance for me was Williams from Oregon. It's kind of crazy because he got disqualified in the NCAA indoors.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
he has a lot to run for. He's probably running on a lot of adrenaline. He's like, y'all don't forget about me. I'm running 9.8s.
Yeah.
Indoors was a fluke.
Well, he
I'm
ran
ready
well
to
at the
go. And
trials last year too. We
yeah,
didn't really pay him.
he was on the four
You
by
know, he
one.
was
Yeah.
yeah, he was quietly really, really good in his first trials appearance. So he's got some big meat experience too. His start is just incredible. I mean, he gets out, puts pressure on the whole field. It's what made him so good in the 60 too. But yeah, 986. That surprised me when I saw that mark. I thought because we were talking about who's the 100 meter favorite on the men's side, and unfortunately, Burnett of USC got injured. But I think it's pretty clear for the NCAA's, it's Makai Williams now and everybody else. A 986 will do that.
Isn't
I know
it
Ash will be in
crazy?
the mix, Bowling will be in the mix, but it's got to be Williams.
Isn't it crazy that Makai Williams, he's going to be sleeping in his own apartment or dorm or wherever he lives for his Pac-12 championship, his NCAA championship, his USA championship,
Yeah,
and his world championship. He
yeah,
doesn't have to go anywhere. He just wakes up,
not bad.
doesn't have to get a hotel, doesn't do any of that stuff, gets to sleep in his own bed, shower in his own shower at the world
Yeah.
championships from worlds all the way to Pac-12s. Pretty wild.
Mhm. On the women's 100, 200 side of things, Steiner and Ophelia. I know that women's 200 is just like our favorite event this year. So, any anything you can read out of those prelim results?
Unfortunately, no. They ran well. They ran the races like prelims. Even the second race of their prelim, they ran like a prelim. I don't think they ran any race together. I think every time they ran, they weren't in the same heat. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure all four of their races were separate from each other. So, um, yeah, right now Ophelia has the upper hand because of SECs, but no one will remember SECs. They're only going to remember NCAA. So the real matchup that matters most is the one that's going to happen in a week or so from now. So they're both looking good. They're both looking like they're firing on all cylinders. And right now it's going to be Ophelia the favorite because of SECs. But Steiner will, I mean, if Steiner wins, it's not going to be like upset. If Ophelia wins, it won't be
Hmm.
an upset. So they're evenly matched. And hopefully their talent and their evenly matchedness leads to a collegiate record again. Because Ophelia already has it, but a new one. So, yeah.
Yeah, Steiner was the 2201, right? With the wind, um, in that 200, but it's hard to prelim results are weird. Some people just go to the well on prelims, and some people just cruise. Ophelia was 1102 and then 2208, but 1102 was into a 1.3, 2208 was legal. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, you look at the west side of things, right? Where you had all a bunch of people sub four women sub 10-9 eh, in the west prelim. Now that was windy, right?
Are we
But
are we sleeping on Julian Alfred?
well, I'm not. I mean, I have her ranked in the top 10 in the world in the 100, which is a hard list to get on to. But you had Alfred go 1080 with a 2.2, Chuck Wuma from Texas Tech 1082 with a 2.6, Barnes from USC 1089 with a 2.7, Kemba Nelson from Oregon 1085 with a 2.6. So no, I think Alfred the favorite in the 100.
I think so.
Yeah, that's how I
But
see it.
like, I'm not even thinking about sleeping on her from the NCAA level. I'm talking about
We're
sleeping
talking
on
about the
her
world level.
at the world level. Here are her results. Skip the first two. 1098, 1081, 1080, 11 flat, 1080.
Yeah,
It's pretty good.
yeah. A lot of them are windy, so people discount them. But if she makes the final, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, that makes sense. Like, why did we think she wasn't going to make the final?" Oh, but long way to go still. I think the first priority is just looking at that NCAA meet because I think that's going to be hard enough because somebody's going to like Steiner and Ophelia are going to be tough, right? And then I just said there's three other women who ran under that 10-9 mark, and then you got Jefferson, the 60-meter champ. Can't count her out. Sure, there's somebody else I'm missing too, but Fahnbulleh's race was fun as per usual. I mean, I just love watching this guy's hundreds and 200s. Love everything about watching him run. He was 10:04 this week, fastest time from the East, just with another just incredible comeback. If you haven't found the race, people can find it on social media. But the comebacks are just so like you see him do it, so you know what to expect, but it feels like he's in a deeper hole every time he does it. It's just like it's like watching like a superhero movie. It's like how's he gonna get out of this pickle that he's in? Like how's how are they gonna solve this sort of riddle? And it's just like each time it gets more and more complicated, and there's more and more enemies that he's going against, and somehow he solves it every single time, just in the nick of time.
Kind of reminds me of Christina and Boma. Like, Mboma was always kicking late,
Come
ended up
come
getting
from behind,
silver
yeah.
at the Olympics. Yeah, man. If Fahnbulleh had Christian Coleman start, my God, we'd be looking at an animal. Like,
Yeah, yeah. He'd be
he just
like
has to figure that
nine.
out.
He'd be like 9'6", something. I don't know. I don't know what the conversion would be on that, but and I guess that's the way sports work, right? Not everybody has every tool. Otherwise, there'd be it wouldn't be fair. So he's got that part of his race. Uh, the first, you know, 20, 30 is always an adventure. But then from that point in, it's just incredible. I mean, it's just, again, he's doing this against really good competition. It's going to be harder to do it as he gets better and better. And if he's at a world championship final, just like we saw, with the Olympics, you run out of space, you run out of real estate. But I'd rather have to fix that than to fix the rest of the top end speed. That's tough to fix. The start, theoretically, you could fix. It's taken, he's still dealing with it, but maybe at some point he gets that part down. And then, yeah, even if it just shaves off a little bit of time, you're talking about a guy who could win medals for sure.
I feel like he probably drives his head coach, Mike Holloway, nuts. He's like, gosh, you're great. You're one of the best I've ever coached. But for goodness sake, can you at least give me something in the first 20 meters of your races? Just something, you know? So
Yeah.
he
Well,
gives him a heart
I'm
attack every
sure
time he watches him run, you know?
I'm sure he's tried. I'm sure they've tried everything to try to fix it because it's been going on a year now,
It's true.
year plus of this. Again, it makes for very entertaining viewing on our side of things. And I mean, he's incredible. He's amazing. So much fun to watch. Other NCAA stuff before we move on. What do you got?
Randolph Ross ran 44.2, looked good. I mean, Ross, I know Michael Norman is just coming off of 43.6, but if Ross
Hmm.
continues to progress, I could see Ross running 43 seconds in the NCAA final. And then all of a sudden,
Hmm.
we'll be like, all right, two 43-second guys going at it at USA's. And then same thing on the hurdle side, Trey Cunningham, 13:07 into a negative 1.5 headwind. That converts to about a 13:02.
Hmm.
We talked about it. Grant Holloway hasn't really been running out of his mind, if at all much. Trey Cunningham could find a way to upset Grant Holloway at USA's. It could happen. Well, Holloway probably won't even run USA's now that I think about it because he has the bye. But Trey Cunningham could be our US champion. That's crazy. Trey Cunningham could potentially even break Grant Holloway's collegiate record.
Hmm.
Like, he's not
That's what I
that
was going
far
to
off.
ask.
What's 1298? 1298
Yeah, do you think
the
he can get
record?
that? Yeah.
I think so. 13:07 into a negative 1.5 in a prelim. That's, you can run 1298.
You more concerned about Holloway or Chelimo in terms of your favorite guys?
Chelimo. Chelimo for
Mm.
sure.
Yeah, Holloway. He's going to be at Worlds.
Yeah.
He's got the buy. It's not even a question. Hey, we got to bring up the 800 though when people run fast. Zahafi from Texas Tech, 144. He's single-handedly going to account for half of the sub 145s, I think, by the end of the season. Not who I thought would be the guy that everybody's talking about in the 800 this year, both from the NCAA perspective or from the world perspective. But that's where we're at. Although we might see a good 800 today as we record this. We got the
Yeah.
Ostrava World or Continental Tour going on today with a good 800 field. Eventually, someone's going to run something fast. But Zahafi just looks Like I know we do this every year in the NCAA with an 800-meter runner. It's like one person is just unbeatable, and then a lot of times they get upset. It's like a curse. They get upset by the time we get to the NCAA championships. Zahafi's that guy. Zahafi's like the
Devin
Cerrone
Dixon.
career. Dixon, exactly. There's always somebody there who everybody thinks is unbeatable, and then some. They come in with a big. I mean, Brazier.
Yeah.
Well, Brazier was, but
Man,
not
I miss the
not a
glory
trials.
days of the 800.
Maybe it'll be back soon. Who knows? All right. We're gonna go to kick a week in a second. First of all, though, I want to check in. Colt, is your microphone on, Colt?
Yes. What's up?
How do you think Gordon's doing? Just you've done a lot of podcasts in your time.
I
How
I
do you think he's
do.
doing?
I think he's powering through. I do respect the lean over and spit into the bucket, which I assume is happening. But yeah, it's going. It's going. Oh God.
No, don't
Don't you?
get. Okay.
That's so gross.
Are you doing any audio tricks to make his voice even worse? Because I think that would kind of be funny at this point.
Ooh.
Just make him sound like a robot by the end. Everybody would believe it.
I don't think he needs any help from me. I don't think any filter can help this.
Have you tried cough drops, Gordon?
In my life, yes.
No, today.
This weekend, no.
All right.
Come on.
That would have been
You
my
really
move,
think I'm going to
but-
get out in a car, drive 1.5 miles, walk into a CVS and purchase $3.99 packet of cough drops? No. I'm not gonna do that.
Impossible.
No. I don't have time.
DoorDash it. You and Colt could DoorDash them.
DoorDash it and then charge me a $6.99 service and a $12 tip? No.
It doesn't bother you when you get food from them all the time. You're not worried about
Yeah.
it. You could have got them
food's good.
yesterday.
Food's good. Food's good.
That is true. No one's going to disagree with you on that one. All right. Hold on. Let's do kick of the week in a second here.
Any people talking to us in the YouTube comments?
I'm checking on the chat here. They've probably given up on the show at this point.
Nah, don't give up on the show. I'm sorry
trying to
to
think
all
of-
of our viewers that I wasn't there on Saturday. I had
Yeah.
prior plans that were already scheduled.
Oh, we heard
in.
about it.
Some people started to criticize me that I'm missing too many pods because I missed the Birmingham pod and I missed the Prefontaine pod.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yes.
when I get to 3, that's when you can start criticizing. So 2 is a fluke. 3 is a trend. So when I get to 3 missed pods, then you can start getting upset.
Didn't you say last week if I do it one time, it's a fluke? If I do it twice, that's when you can trust it?
Yeah, that's true. Colt. Good memory, Colt.
Colt,
What's up?
I may have said that, but sometimes you don't mean the things you say, and sometimes things don't apply to you that apply to others. The situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I understand.
I have nothing. I have no response. I plead the fifth.
horrible life lessons being taught by Gordon Mack on the pod. All right, let's go to kick of the week. It's kick of the week time. We're gonna look at 2 kicks, both from
Double.
the CIF. Double kick this week, both from the CIF championships. That's the high school state championships out in California. Let's get that first one going. This
The
is
women?
the girls 4x4 here. Let me set the stage here. You got Long Beach Wilson out front, and then Takia Sensi of Clovis North got the stick 4 seconds by. Let's freeze it right there, Colt, if you could. Actually, yeah, let's freeze this one or bring it back a little bit. Let's look at that gap a little bit earlier on. Now Sensi was the open 400-meter champion, so you knew she had some wheels. But Wilson, obviously, very good. Other thing to consider as we keep this race rolling here, they're running at home in Clovis. So you got the hometown
Windy,
support.
too.
Very windy. Last event of the meet. And Sensi's just going to walk them down. What do you think of this, Gordon?
So typically kick of the weeks, you don't get them until, 10 meters left. She completed the
Yeah.
kick halfway through the race. So it was just like a kick
Yeah.
of the week
I didn't
half price special.
Well, I didn't want to punish her for her dominance. That's what I thought about it. I was like, Sensi she's so good in this anchor leg. And obviously, you know, anytime you win a 4x4 at the end of the meet, you're gonna be fired up. But doing it in front of the hometown crowd, especially, gonna get you all jazzed. So that's why I was like, you're right. It's not dramatic, but she erased a about 4 second gap in, what was that, 280 meters. She could have waited another 100 meters and
Yeah.
added some more drama, but she's like too good, is what I'm saying. I didn't want to penalize her for being that good.
Well, have you know what I would appreciate if there were runners out there who would look for the theatrics of their kick. And even though they know, hey, I could win this race by 15 meters. You know what? I want to have that fun photo finish look. So I'm going to sandbag a little bit in the back turn to then eventually pull away for the ultimate kick of the week.
Yeah, add a little bit of drama to it.
Exactly.
I
What's the
remember watching
second
a
one?
team once. They basically chilled for 300 and then sprinted away the last 100 of every single leg. It just was in a dual meet, and the coach of the opposing team was not happy afterwards that they did that. Not a good scene. So that was a little. They took it a little too far in the other direction.
Okay.
But people have tried it. The other one, so it's boys now. We're going over to the boys. Now, this is a little bit different. Let me set the stage. Let's freeze it right here.
It's a good
Let's go
free
back a
spot.
second here. Yeah. So we're going to freeze it right there. So the team in third, this is another non traditional kick of the week. The team in third, Central, they just need to get second.
Kevin froze. So they just need to get second, I'm guessing, to win the meet points wise. So let's see what happens. So it's a kick for second because second is what it takes to score the 6 points to win the team title. And they look pretty far back from second. Yeah. Oh, wow. They're like 4 seconds back. So that's the battle for first. But the real question is, can one of these guys fall back and get caught by third place?
Yeah, so freeze
There's
it here
no way to
again.
get.
So on the anchor leg there for Central, Jeremiah Walker, 400-meter champion. Now again, just needs to get second. If they get second, they'll win the team title by 1 point. So ahead of them is Wilson, Long Beach Wilson, and then ahead of Wilson right now is Cathedral. So let's keep rolling here. Again, we're doing non-traditional kicks of the week here. So Cathedral's out front, Wilson, and then Walker for Central, trying to give them the team title. And with 100 to go, still a couple strides behind, doing everything he can to make the pass. So there's two things going on here. Cathedral, super pumped, they win. But then Central is able to clinch the team title in the final strides.
Gotta love
Again,
kick of the week for second.
4x4s.
And a kick of the week
Yeah.
that was over in 200 meters. Classic kick of the week entries for the week.
I know. I wanted to go in another direction, but I mean, look at this close. This is incredible. I mean, he's way far back to do it, and the team needed second. He got him second. They win the meet by 1 point. That's pretty cool, right?
That's cool. Yeah. Nothing like a 4x4 to close out a meet.
It comes in all kicks of the week, come in all shapes and sizes, different dynamics across the board. So those are the two kicks of the week out of the California State meet. Checking on the chat before we go. Any questions, comments, thoughts about Gordon's health? You can drop them in there right now. I'll have a This Week in Track coming up later on today. The race breakdown. We'll do another pod tomorrow, actually, because today's Tuesday, huh? Man, you're gonna have to
Yeah.
you're gonna have to recover
Rally.
quickly because I'm getting
I'm gonna rally.
all this talking probably set you backwards.
Cough drops and rally is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, you might need to do that DoorDash for $6.99 and get some hauls over to you ASAP.
You think
Uh,
this is bad? You should have heard my voice on Saturday. That's all I gotta say.
I did. I
It was-
called you. You were just
Oh
like,
yeah,
yes, this is what Gordon was saying. He said, hey, did you watch those 10Ks last night? That was pretty crazy, right? And I said, what? Why are you talking like this? Are you in a library? No, I lost my voice. And I said, all right, I'm gonna let you go. And he said, bye. I see dead people.
Yep.
That's what you should have done.
I need to learn to control myself.
JW says Norman will medal at Worlds. He needs to double at the 100 and 400.
So, he's saying he's only going to medal at Worlds if he chooses to do the 1-2.
No, it was two separate sentences. Norman will medal at
Okay.
Worlds. He needs to double at 100 and 400. People just people want to see that 1 and 4.
Yeah, I wouldn't say.
Anthony says, please recover quickly, Gordon. Pod isn't a pod without your rants.
I appreciate that. I'm working on it.
I mean, he
Trying to
kind
get
of
better.
tried
I'm
to
excited
rant.
though. Like, dude,
Ran out of gas though.
June's gonna be crazy. June's gonna be crazy with a lot of great track, a lot of great pods. NCAA's coming. We have like 6 continental tours in the next like 4 days. There's literally one today, and then there's like 12 this weekend. Obviously, the Diamond Leagues are going on. USA's will be in Eugene for USA's, so that'll be fun. Do pods from the ground. We'll do the pods after every day, so it's gonna be fun. I'm excited.
David says, Kevin, take him some cough drops. Be a friend. I would. I have 2 kids with me though in the other room. So one's daycare got shut down because of COVID. The other one is school ended last week, and camp hasn't started yet. So we have a week of nothing, which probably explains my internet connection because they're on 9 different streaming devices, I'm guessing, in the other room, which I need to check on here as soon as I hang up. So I would take care of Gordon, but I have to take care of other human beings. Rose Runner says, admit Hawker is better than Tier.
No, because that was Hawker's first win over Tier ever. So Tier is now 5-1 instead of 6-0. And I don't know. He didn't smoke them. They finished back to back, place wise. So Tier's better. I hope maybe I can be proven right or wrong with this because maybe Tier will enter the 1500 and try to do a 15 5K double. I think Tier should at least do the 1500. Be like, because even a bad day for Cooper Tier is going to get at least third in the 1500. So maybe I'll be able to. We'll see this through at a real race. Not that Prefontaine's not a real race, but I mean, a race that matters is a qualifying championship. So we'll see. I mean, saying Tier is better than Hawker is not diminishing Hawker. It's elevating Tier because Hawker is great. Hawker is a world championship finalist. I think Hawker will make another world championship final. I just think Tier is better. I think they're both great. I just think Tier is 1A and Hawker is 1B.
Kevin, will you bet your house this year on Norman? No. I learned my lesson. I mean, I bet my house on Krauser. That's probably maybe Faith could egg on after this week, but definitely Krauser.
Did you bet your house on Krauser to win World Indoors?
No, I wasn't. No, we did the most likely to. It was between him and Mondo who set a world record first indoors. We didn't. I'm never gonna bet anything on world indoors that involves my financial future. Come on, I'm not stupid. Smart. What's up with Safan? I don't know. I was bombed. We're like, why are people not talking about Herver's knee and Saab in the 2 mile? And then she scratched. It's like, all right, I guess that's why. Somebody knew something that we were not privy to. Yeah, it's late now, and I guess she was gonna run a 10K and said she wasn't gonna run that as well too. I'm bumping up the panic meter there too, which would be a huge bummer because she's in 3 different events Usually, if there's a star athlete not there, it's like, oh man, I'm going to miss their presence in this one event. With Sifan Hassan, she adds stuff to all three. David says, don't you have 3 kids? Yeah, I still have 3 kids. One, their daycare is open, so they're able to go. The other 2, no. Michael says, Gordon, does Murphy have to give up the mile forever now?
Yes, 100%.
All right.
I mean, if
Rules the
that was an
rules.
800, we need to be sending those papers, those retirement papers out to Murphy because you can't lose to a high school kid. I mean, clearly Murphy was just there because he's a Nike athlete. And they're like, all right, I'll beat in the mile. You can have, and he wasn't. Murphy definitely was in that race not to win it. He was in that race to collect to sign off on like, yes, I'm a Nike athlete. I'm here at Prefontaine. But to lose to Solomon, come on, man. You're looking to try to win the
350
global gold. Can't lose to a high school kid, even if it's not your event. I mean, it's fine. I still think Murphy.
356 though for Solomon. That's pretty good though. Pretty good.
Yeah, but like if Clayton Murphy can run 354 at minimum, he just chose not to. Like Clayton Murphy's good. So
Gordon's new theory: pro runners choosing to not run as fast as they can.
he did. He chose not to because he's like, what's in it for him? What's in it for Clayton Murphy to finish 9th versus 13th? Nothing. So he's like, all right, I'll just shrug. I mean, he didn't try to get every last place, which he shouldn't because this isn't his priority. His priority is making an 800 meter team and getting a global gold in the 800.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't blame him, but hey, careful now. Can't lose to high school kids. As I said, you have to retire when you lose to a high school kid. But luckily, Murphy is not a miler anymore, so the rule does not apply to him. But it almost did.
All right. Elijah says Tier basically said he's going to do the 1500. Rosener says third spot for the US 1500 is wide open. Yes and yes. Anthony says, do you think Camacho Quinn getting the world record this year? Yeah, I think. I mean, I don't know, man. It's so tough because she was on a roll last year. If you asked me at the beginning of last year, did I think it was possible? No. But now you come into the year with that lifetime best. You think yes. I'll probably say no, and I'll be proven wrong. Disappointed almost no discussion of women's distance races at Pre. I did the whole thing on the 1500 and the 800. I talked about Keeley and watched the recap pod. I did a whole thing. No discussion of Laura Muir, just that Norris has struggled in the 15. Yeah, I mean, Muir was good in Birmingham, flew across an ocean, and then struggled. I don't know what. I mean, Riki also struggled. Hodgkinson didn't. So, I mean, I don't know everybody's exact travel plans. I know Hodgkinson said she had a tough time traveling over. Everybody's going to deal with that stuff differently. But yeah, we talked 1500 and 800 in the recap. Steeple. Yeah, right. We did not talk steeple. I mean, I guess from the U.S. perspective, Coburn and Frerichs struggling early on. They were kind of out of the mix from that race. I know Coburn talked about she was just stuck. Like the pace went out so fast, she was basically running by herself the entire time. That's a difficult way to open the season. I'm not gonna overreact too much. I think Frerichs and Coburn will be in the mix when it counts. I mean, they'll be top 5, top 6 at Worlds for sure.
I mean, they were part of the most memorable 1-2 finish in U.S. history. Was it in 2017 they did that?
Yeah.
That was fun, man. That was great. That's a long time ago. 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Man, time flies. 2017 London, 5 years ago.
Someone says, predict what time wins the men's 200 final at Worlds. I think a good over-under is, will it be a season best? Will it be faster than Knighton's 1949?
No, will it be a season's best for the winner?
Well, right, but okay.
Because if the winning time is 19.5, that could be a season's best for Lyles, but not a season's best for Knighton.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be slower than 49. I'm going to go like 1958.
I like that. That's a good number. I'm gonna go 1953.
That's not that much different. Come on.
That's very different, man.
You should either go 19.3 or 19.8. Just you gotta can't can't differ by like hundreds of seconds. Like we're
So
gonna
you
be
want me to
arguing
lie
about
to the
that.
people? You want me to make
No.
something up? Give a take
you
I
just
don't
told-
believe in? Come on.
You
Tell
just
the
told
truth.
us. Colt, what's your pick? Winning time, men's 200 worlds.
1954.
Ooh. This Price is right, my ass right there.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
1 second.
1 second higher.
Anthony says 55. 1955.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah,
everyone's we're all. We should have like a
Hungry.
bingo card. Like,
What was
like for
DeGrasse?
Super Bowl? You have like the
Yeah.
scoring
DeGrasse
card.
was 60
Everyone can pick a time, and the winning time gets like a T-shirt or something. That'll be fun.
DeGrasse
do
was
that.
62, right? Was DeGrasse 62?
I don't know.
Tokyo.
DeGrasse, dude. DeGrasse doesn't have it anymore.
He was 62. Lyles was 52 at pre last year. Those are the top 2 times. You know what I'm gonna worry about Andre DeGrasse in the 200?
70 meters in. I get it.
No, 120 meters in. He gets more latitude in the 200, so you can wait another 50 meters. Let's see. David says 1968. JJ says 1904. All right, we're getting a little bit of variation. Maybe we should just keep this ongoing. People just every day put their prediction in the chat. I will leave it there. Gordon's coughing again. I thought he was getting better throughout. I thought his voice was getting a little smoother, but I guess not. Thanks to Colt. Thanks to Travis. We'll be back tomorrow. You guys don't need to wait long for a pod. 9 a.m. Central.